UFC 299, Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera is this weekend. This card is incredibly stacked. If I looked at this card and they said this is UFC 300, I would be ecstatic. It's not. UFC 300 is also going to be great. We'll have videos coming out in the next couple weeks about UFC 300, but we're talking about 299 right now. One of the best cards that I have seen on paper. Let's hope it delivers. I don't think there's a shot it doesn't. The fights on this card are incredible. We got 14 fights. 13 of them are bangers. One of them's a good poop break right in the middle of a low-level WMMA fight. But starting off the card, we're going with Ion Cutelaba and Felipe Lins. Who's going to win this fight? I'm going Felipe Lins is going to win this fight, and he's going to win it by a second-round submission. His submission game is just a little bit better than Cutelaba, and if he can get out of that first round, Cutelaba has shown he doesn't really have much after that first round. He throws a blitz at you early, and if it doesn't work out, I don't want to say he gives up in there because I don't think he gives up, but you can see he gets visibly frustrated and he leaves himself open to get clipped or caught. I could see him getting hit a couple of times, shooting a takedown. Felipe Lins pulls a guillotine. Ion Cutelaba can't get out, and he taps out. I think second round submission, Felipe Lins over Ion Cutelaba to start the card. Now, when I say that's the first fight on the card, that's going to be a fun fight. Those are two guys that your hardcore fans, they know the name of. They're two big guys at 205. They're very intimidating people in the ring. So to start that card off, this is the fight. I mean, this is going to be a great card. Now, I hyped that up like crazy. You're going to take a poop break on this next card, or this next fight on the card. It's Joanne Wood versus Myra Munoz. I'm going Joanne Wood. I just think she's a little bit better of a fighter. I think she's going to get this one done by decision. Just working the kicks better, working the boxing better, stuffing some takedowns. I think she ultimately gets it done by decision in this fight. Not going to spend too much more time on it. If I'm going to be honest with you, probably one of the less entertaining fights on this card. The next fight, CJ Vergara versus Asu Alambayev. I hope I pronounced that right. I think Alambayev is going to crush CJ Vergara. I think CJ Vergara is okay at pointing people, but when danger is presented to him, with finishing power is presented to him, I think it gets a lot more difficult. I think Almabayev, if I got that right, is going to win this fight in the first round by submission using relentless pressure, ends up getting a takedown, mounting, getting an arm triangle in round one. So I'm going round one submission from Asu Alambayev. Robelis Despain versus Josh Parisian. If you haven't heard of Robelis Despain, go look up his fights. It will take you probably a cumulative minute. He has 3 first-round finishes within 13 seconds. So he walks into the octagon, gets introduced, and puts people's lights out immediately. This dude is a scary, scary, scary finisher. I think he's going to put Parisian out in the first round. Parisian is not the most talented fighter, but sometimes he can be a tough out. If this fight does get past round one, Josh Parisian's going to win in the second round via TKO, just from Despain being exhausted, I think. It's very hard getting in the octagon, fighting for a long period of time if you're not used to it. Despain's only been in there for a couple of seconds each fight. If it was anyone other than Josh Parisian, I'd say it's going to be a little bit closer of a fight, but at the end of the day, I do think Despain has the power, has the ability to put Parisian's lights out. I think he does it in round one within the first minute and a half. Michel Pereira versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. I got those right, I promise. This is actually a really fun fight. This is fight number 10 on the card. This fight is going to be an absolute banger. These two just swing and swing and swing. I don't see there being much grappling unless someone gets a knockdown and just jumps on top, tries to finish. I think this fight ends second round knockout. Michel Pereira gets it done because I think he's going to use now, mind you, Michal Oleksiejczuk has dynamite in his left hand. He's a southpaw. He hits you hard. His hands are good. But where I think Michel Pereira is going to get the better of Michal Oleksiejczuk is going to be the kicks. Leg kicks, teep kicks, body kicks, head kicks. He uses his range really well. He's a really, really big dude. Then he also has power in his hands. He does some crazy stuff. You'll probably see a flying knee come from him. But at the end of the day, I do tend to pick against Michel Pereira a lot, but he is going to get this one done. He's going to knock out Michal Oleksiejczuk in the second round. I think it's going to be feinting a kick and he throws a straight 1-2 down the pipe that just catches him perfectly, finishes it up with a couple of hammer fists and ground and pound. End of the night there. Another high-level bantamweight fight, and it's the 9th fight on the card. Pedro Munoz, Kyler Phillips. This is a fun fight. Pedro Munoz is a guy that's never been finished, and he has fought the elite of the elite. He's fought the Aldos. He's fought the O'Malleys. He's fought everybody, and he doesn't get knocked out. His leg kicks are incredible. But Kyler Phillips is a damn good fighter. He's fought some good competition. He's lost to Song Yadong. I get that was a loss, but I still think Kyler Phillips is a very good fighter, very dangerous fighter. Kyler Phillips is minus 240 here. I do think that Pedro Munoz is going to be able to chew the legs of Kyler Phillips, stuff a couple of takedowns, and I know he's a smaller guy, but he's got crazy power. He's got low-key dynamite in his hands as well. So I think Pedro Munoz is going to get this fight done by decision due to damage from the leg kicks and his punches. Kyler Phillips, great fighter. I don't think he's going to get this one done. I think his time is coming. It's just not right now. Pedro Munoz is going to stop him in his tracks, win this fight by decision. Mateus Gamrot versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Mateus Gamrot is probably the lightweight fighter that the UFC does not want to see as champion because he just aggressively grapples for control time. He's got good power in his right hand, but his striking is very exposable. RDA is a veteran of the game. He's not an easy out for anyone, but I do think Gamrot's going to get this done. I think he's just overwhelmingly strong and tough. I think he's going to be stronger than RDA getting in the cage, and that's a big thing to say because RDA is a very strong guy. He goes up to fight at 170 from time to time. I just think Mateus Gamrot is going to be too strong for RDA. He's going to work the clinch game. He's going to relentlessly hunt for takedowns. And he's going to win this fight by decision due to control time and great position and grappling. The one thing that Gamrot's got to be careful of, when he shoots, he puts his head down, and he just goes. He's like a dog going after a bone. He goes, and he goes, and he goes. And if someone times a knee correctly, I know Gamrot has a great chin, but if someone times that knee correctly, someone like I know RDA can, Mateus Gamrot could get flash knocked out. I just don't think it's going to happen. I do think Gamrot's going to win this fight. I think he's going to win it by 30-27 unanimous decision. And it's going to be very sad because RDA is a legend of the sport. I do think after 299, if he loses, he takes his gloves off, he retires from MMA. All of the fans will be grateful for everything that RDA has done. He has been a legend of the sport, a favorite fighter to so many. If he does retire, I just want to say thank you to Rafael Dos Anjos. He's the man, a legend, but I do think he's going to get dominated by Mateus Gamrot today. On Saturday. I hope I'm wrong. I just see how this is going to go. It's going to be 30-27 unanimous decision, Mateus Gamrot, due to aggressive grappling. Caitlin Seminara versus Maycee Barber, formerly Caitlin Chukagian. I think she just got married or something. She's been at the top of the flyweight division, the women's flyweight division, for some time now. When these talented fighters come up, she does tend to lose to them. She's big for the division, right? She's big. She's fought some of the best. Maycee Barber has holes in her game. She has gotten better every time she's gone out there. She's beautiful. And we sometimes see that when the fights are a little close, the UFC goes with who they want to promote. I know they want to promote Maycee Barber. I think we're all going to watch this fight and say, I think Caitlin Chukagian or Seminara might have edged it out, but I think ultimately Maycee Barber is going to get the decision. I'm not going to call it a robbery. I think it's going to be a very close fight, but with a fight this close, I think it's going to go to who the UFC wants to push. I think it's going to be Maycee Barber, and I do think she's talented. She's a fresh face that a lot of people have not fought yet, and she's younger and she's getting better. So I'm hoping Maycee Barber proves me wrong and goes out there and destroys Caitlin Seminara. But I think it's going to be a little bit tougher, especially dealing with the range that, Sarminara has. Sorry, I was pronouncing that one wrong. But I do think Maycee Barber is going to get the decision from the judges in this fight. 29-28, maybe a split. And I love Maycee Barber. The feature prelim, a higher level heavyweight fight. Who knew they had these when they put freaking Gaziev versus Rosenstrike as the main event, and Gaziev gasses out because he's fat as shit. You got to be in shape. These two dudes are in pretty good shape. I know Curtis Blades is a bigger guy, but he's in shape. He's a strong dude. And then Jailton Almeida. He has proven that he is the real deal. He deserves to be at the top of the division. He ragdolls everybody. His jiu-jitsu is great. His grappling overall is great. But he's trying to shoot takedowns on a dude that has really good grappling, solid takedown defense, and is a much bigger guy and stronger guy. I know that Lewis is bigger. I know that Rosenstrike's bigger. They just don't have the takedown defense that Curtis Blaydes has. When this fight was originally booked as a main event in November, Jailton Almeida was minus 250, something like that. And I was going to pick Curtis Blaydes then because I thought he was going to be strong enough. I think he's better with the hands and the boxing. And I just think he's a better striker overall than Jailton Almeida. I'm going to double down on this. This is now a pick'em. So everybody saw what happened when Jailton Almeida just ragdolled Derek Lewis and just controlled him the whole time. He didn't finish him. He controlled him the whole time, and it was a dominant 50-45 decision. But I don't think you're going to be able to do that against Curtis Blaydes. I think Curtis Blaydes is going to be able to stuff a couple of those takedowns, and when he keeps it on the feet, he's going to be able to work the boxing really well, get a lot of good damage done, and I think he's going to win this fight by decision. I think it's going to be unanimous. I think it's going to be 30-27, and I think his boxing is really going to lead the way. Part of me thinks that this fight is going to be boring. I do think that he might stay on the outside a little bit more, try and stay away from the cage, work his jab, and then start throwing the power punches very selectively. So it could be a slower pace fight. I am going to go with Blaydes here. It's a pick'em. I think he's got good value. I'm going with Curtis Blaydes by decision. We're on the main card. One of the best main cards that I have seen put together. This is insane. The first fight on the main card is Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. Two top bantamweights. Petr Yan has been robbed more times than I can count on one hand. But at the end of the day, he's still one of the better fighters in this division. The problem with Petr Yan is he starts slow. And he picks it up in the later rounds. 3, 4, and 5. This is a 3-round fight. Song Yadong doesn't take his foot off the gas at all. And the only person in recent memory that he's lost to is Corey Sandhagen, who I just came out with a video with today, Sunday the 3rd. It's the 3rd? It's the 3rd. And Corey Sandhagen, I think, is the best fighter at bantamweight. Merab is obviously very, very close, but I think Sandhagen's the best, most well-rounded. And Song went to the 5th round with him, or until the end of the 4th, and the doctor stopped the fight because of a cut. Sandhagen was going to win the fight by decision, but Song Yadong's got some of the most legit power, and he just walks people down. I think his boxing's gotten so much better. He's young. He's got a fresh chin. So Petr Yan, to highlight, starts slower. Song Yadong is coming at you the whole time. If Petr Yan doesn't get started fast, Song Yadong's going to win those first 2 rounds, and Petr may look really good in the 3rd, but Song's going to win that fight 29-28. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think we're in for a sick fight, an absolute sick fight. Song Yadong is a killer. The dude has crazy power, just tough chin. It's hard to put the guy out. I think he's going to get this fight done by 29-28 decision. It's going to be Petr working some low kicks in the first round. Second round, he's going to start working the punches. Song Yadong's going to win those first 2 rounds. Petr's going to win the 3rd, but he's going to ultimately lose the fight because he lost the first 2. 29-28, Song Yadong wins by decision. He's an underdog. Keep an eye on this one. It's a good one to take, but this fight is going to be a banger. Tune in right at 10 o'clock. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena is really, really exciting. I know he had that fight with Rafael Bafas or something like, or Bafas, whatever his name was again. And it was a little bit more competitive that people would like. But if you go back and watch, he very clearly won the fight by decision. And I think he's going to beat Gilbert Burns here too. I think Gilbert Burns is getting older in his career. He's a really, really good fighter, but this is a tough fight for him. If he gets it to the ground, I think Jack Della Maddalena is in trouble. But I think the reason Jack Della Maddalena was getting taken down was because he was going for guillotines. I don't think he's going to be dumb and start jumping guillotines again here on Gilbert Burns. I think he knows keep it on the feet, work the boxing, close the range. He's going to work the punches really well. He goes to the body a lot. I could see him shutting down Gilbert Burns' body in round 2 with a nasty liver shot and just finishing it up with a TKO. I think TKO round 2, Jack Della Maddalena. I love Gilbert Burns. I don't want to see him get put out like that. But it's time for the new wave of welterweights to come in. We saw Ian Gary, the cuck himself, beat Jeff Neal. We've seen Shavkat just destroy Wonderboy. go tough with Jeff Neal and win that fight as well. We're starting to see those new age guys come up and get those wins. I think the same thing happens here with Jack Della Maddalena. New name in the top 5, Jack Della Maddalena coming to you this week. Second round TKO, body shot on Gilbert Burns. Underdog alert, Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland. If you haven't seen Michael Venom Page fight, just go watch his highlight reel. It's like if you were to translate it to football, when someone tells you what's the best highlight reel you want to go see, you go watch Tavon Austin. When you want to see the best the best MMA highlight reel with the craziest shit, MVP's right up there, man. Michael Venom Page is an absolute animal. I get it, he's older. I get it. And he just went to war with Mike Perry in bare knuckle. But it seems when Kevin Holland has these big fights and there's an avenue for him to lose, he kind of throws it away in the sense that he has told himself in his mind he might lose this fight, so he just fights dumber. And then he complains after the fight that he got robbed, but realistically he did lose. The same thing that happened with Jack Della Maddalena. He clearly lost that fight, and in his mind he told himself he wasn't going to win the fight, and he kind of gave up on it. If you do that against Michael Venom Page, he's going to catch you. But Kevin Holland has a hell of a chin. He's not getting knocked out. I think Michael Venom Page is going to throw some crazy type of striking, spin kicks. He's going to do 360 kicks. He's going to throw spinning back fists, flying knees. And that's going to be a really good visual when they connect to the judges. And he's going to win this fight by decision, 29-28. He's going to beat Kevin Holland. He's plus 110. Nothing, no crazy underdog. But that's a good value pick. I would take him there. It's his debut in the UFC too, so I could be wrong. He may just all of a sudden not, work out because people in Bellator aren't as good as the people in the UFC. That just is what it is. But I think Michael Venom Page is going to get this one done by decision. I just think he's a little bit more talented than Kevin Holland, and sometimes Kevin Holland faces these fights where he doesn't believe in himself as much as he should, and it hurts him in the decision. A 5-round co-main event. We love this, dude. We love this. First of all, this is a main event level fight, but it's the co-main event, and they made it 5 rounds because it's that damn good. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Dustin Poirier. Everyone knows who Dustin Poirier is. He knocked out McGregor twice. Kinda. Dr. Stoppage. Don't forget that one. But Dustin Poirier is really good with the hands, man. His boxing is incredible. He is a plus 155 underdog, which for Dustin Poirier against the 11th ranked fighter in the division, while Poirier is 3, that's a kind of a crazy odd. But there's a reason it's like that. Benoit Saint-Denis, former French Special Forces. Every single fight he's in is a war, and he puts it on people. Relentless pace and pressure. Just overwhelmingly strong, tough for the division, a hard out for anybody. He finishes every single person he fights. Poirier's a tough dude too. But Benoit Saint-Denis is going to catch him. And when he starts implementing the grappling, we've seen Poirier's takedown defense isn't the best. It's good, but it's not the best in the division, which is what I think you need to stop Benoit Saint-Denis. I think Saint-Denis is going to be able to get this to the ground, start to wear out Poirier a little bit, and in the second round, he's going to catch him with a crazy power shot. He's going to throw body kicks, which is going to keep Dustin's head coming down, his arms are coming down, and he's going to start catching him with combinations, and he ends up finishing Dustin Poirier with a TKO in round 2. And then after that, you're going to see Poirier just going after the money fights, which he should be having, right? He took his shot at the top of the division. He's getting older. I just don't know that he's going to be able to hang with the upcoming Benoit Saint-Denis. He can definitely hang. Don't get me wrong. He can definitely hang, but he lost to Gaethje, who deserves a title shot. I think he would lose to Arman Tsarukyan. He's lost to Oliveira, who's still up there. He's not going to beat Islam. I just think it's time he starts looking for those money fights. If this fight gets past round 3 and goes into 4 and 5, the championship rounds, we have not seen Benoit Saint-Denis get there yet. If this fight gets to those last 2 rounds, Dustin Poirier will win the fight. I'm just expecting that Benoit Saint-Denis will be able to finish it early. But if he can't, the live line will be swollen to Benoit Saint-Denis because he'll be winning those first couple rounds. If it gets later in the fight, put money on Poirier. He's going to have a ridiculous line. He's got a great cardio. And he's going to ultimately be able to overwhelm Benoit Saint-Denis if he starts seeing that he's tired. And when Dustin Poirier starts going downhill, just ask Connor. He's a tough man to stop. I'm just banking on Benoit Saint-Denis to get it done early. So I think second round TKO, but if it gets past round 3, Dustin Poirier is going to finish the fight in round 5. So if you're making a parlay, you put Saint-Denis in there. If you're watching the fight live and you want a live bet, if it gets past round 3, put Poirier. But we're going Benoit Saint-Denis, second round, TKO, working the body, ultimately finishes it with punches. Round 2, Benoit Saint-Denis. The main event, which arguably shouldn't be a fight that was made, but the UFC wants to protect their little clown show cuck Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's a good fighter, guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, he's a damn good fighter. He's just a clown to look at because he's got crazy hair and he's got tattoos all over his face and he lets dudes sleep with his wife. So, at the end of the day, it is agonizing that the UFC pushes this guy as a star because the only people that watch him are the people that can't buy pay-per-views because they need their parents to buy it for him because they have the code to the cable. But Chito Vera is the number 6th ranked bantamweight. He has lost to Corey Sandhagen, who is waiting in the wings for when he gets his title shot. Not only that, he lost 50-45, and Joel Ojeda is the worst judge of all time, so he gave it 48-47 Chito because he was getting paid a little bit of dollars in the back. So Joel Ojeda, you can go fuck yourself. But at the end of the day, Corey Sandhagen dominated Chito Vera, and somehow Chito Vera beats Pedro Munoz and he gets the shot. That's not right. That shouldn't happen. Chito Vera's beaten Sean O'Malley in the past. He got him with a perennial nerve kick, which is kind of a lucky shot, but it's still a shot that made it so Sean O'Malley could not finish it. Being in the cage with Chito Vera for 25 minutes is very intimidating. He is an ominous presence, and you know he's not going out. I have not seen a scratch. Like, being in the octagon with Chito Vera for 25 minutes in a 5-round fight is very scary. He has an ominous presence, and he doesn't get knocked out. Never seen a scratch on the guy, even when he fought Sandhagen. But at the end of the day, I think Sean O'Malley is going to start working the range really well. He's going to work the leg kicks, and he's going to win this fight by decision. It's going to be a boring decision, but Sean O'Malley's going to win this fight by decision, and he better fight Merab next or Sandhagen next. Those two dudes deserve a title shot. They've beaten everybody. Give them a title shot next, and stop going home and watching in the corner while other dudes sleep with your wife.